do Sul. That's amazing, Botucatu, Passos. Wow, that's incredible. Thank you very much for being here with us on this beautiful Monday. At least here in Minas Gerais, it's a beautiful Monday afternoon here. And yeah, so Vinicius is now broadcasting on YouTube. So thank you very much, Vinicius. Now I'm gonna make...
Thank you.
Thank you. Now Igor is going to be the host.
We're live on YouTube.
Good, good, good. So thank you very much. So now, Vinicius, I would like you to... Okay, so I can't... Igor, can you invite Filipe to join us?
To join him as a us as a host?
No, to join us as a panelist.
Done. He's a host now.
All right,
He's
here I am.
a panelist now. Hey, Filipe, how are you?
I'm doing
How are
great.
you, Filipe?
Hello, everyone.
So glad to see you here, Filipe. So allow me to have the honor to introduce Filipe, who happens to be the Vice President of the Teaching Online SIG. Great honor to have him here with us. Just give me a mo. Okay, so Filipe Lopes has been teaching English for almost 10 years. He's a Cambridge certified teacher and teacher trainer. He's one of the counselors of the Teaching Online SIG and is currently graduating in Letras-Inglês. In 2016, he founded English to Go, and he lives in the countryside of Bahia, Jequié, in the countryside of Bahia. So, Filipe, welcome aboard.
Thank you guys for having me. It's fantastic to be here talking to this, number of great teachers here. Thank you all. I really appreciate it.
It's all yours, Filipe. You can start sharing your presentation.
Okay.
And
let me go for it. Okay. Everybody just left. I feel alone. Okay, let me see if I can activate here the chat. Okay, chat's here. Fine, good. So hello everyone again. As you said, I'm Filipe. I'm really happy to be here, and I'm really happy. I really appreciate all of you have taken your time to listen to me talking. And basically, today I'm gonna share with you a little bit of my my journey as an online teacher. All right. And well, to start off, I'd like to I'd like to tell a story about myself, and I'd like to tell you how things ended up this way. All right. As you said, I've been teaching English for 10 years now, and well, I started teaching online 4 years ago or something. Before it, I used to teach in a franchise, and I was not happy there. The franchise was good. It was really fantastic, the franchise itself. But I was, a little bit down due to many things. I felt a little bit demotivated. I wanted to do things the way I wanted. And of course, the franchise has got to follow a standard. Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt this way? Have you ever felt down not because of a franchise, but because you've got to teach in a way you would like to be different, whatever. Have you ever felt this way? Let me check here all right. Yes, used to be, okay, of course, okay. Well, so I think we all, or at least most of us, share the same thing, the same feeling. Let me show you a photo here. As I told you, I was really down, but But I don't know if you have watched this this interview, and this is Professor Clóvis de Barros. He had this interview on Joe, I think 4 years ago or something, 4 or 5 years ago. I can't remember properly, but I can tell you, when I watched it, things have changed completely. I was really, really sad because of the way my career was being conducted back in the time. But basically, to be more specific, in this interview, he talks about the definition of happiness according to some philosophers. And right after watching it, I was like, hey, I'm happy teaching English. I'm happy doing it. I'm happy helping people. And that's what I'm going to do until my dying day. So right after watching this interview, I decided that I was going to be a teacher until the end of my days. But of course, I was sad with that situation where I used to work, and I needed to change it somehow. I know I couldn't change the franchise, and that's fine, that's okay with it. And I needed to change it somehow. So I had the marvelous idea. Well, I can't get a place to work because I've got no money. I can't open a school. I can't do none of these things. So I'm going to teach online. Of course, that's simple. You know, I've got internet at home. I've got a computer. That's all what I need. Fool me back in the time. Yes, Professor Clóvis de Barros. I think he teaches at Unicamp. I'm not sure. I can't remember exactly. But yeah, he was the one indirectly responsible for being here today. So yeah, that's the thing. I was like, let's do it. I'm going to start online teaching. Fantastic. So when I decided doing it, I thought it would be something quite easy, but it was not. I found my first obstacle, which was this one. Where will I teach these lessons? I think for the majority of people, when we have this idea of going online, these two tools, these two platforms are the first ones that pop out in our brains. So I went for Skype and Hangouts. I gave them a try, and well, I'm not telling they're bad, but they couldn't deliver what I was expecting. I hired another platform. It was a paid platform, but I can't even remember the name of it. And it was really expensive. I paid it in $1, and it was horrible for my situation back at the time. Again, I didn't have money, so that was not the platform for me. I went for Whereby, but again, that was not cool. And I ended up using Zoom. And I think that's the tool of choice for the majority of online teachers, right? Let me check here on the chat. Who here uses Zoom? Can you just say I, myself, me? I don't know. Well, everybody. Well, yeah, most of people. Good, good, good. Someone said Zoom and Skype. Again, I'm not telling Skype is bad or something. Skype, just back in the time, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, Skype didn't deliver what I wanted, what I needed. So I ended up using Zoom for reasons all of us already know. Many other great teachers talked about it. Igor talked about it. I saw his presentation. He brought up fantastic topics about Zoom, so I'm not gonna go over it. Okay, first obstacle, done, Zoom. Then I went to the second obstacle. How could I receive my payment? I was like, okay, I'm gonna teach online. Probably I'm gonna be teaching to people who lives in other cities and in other states, other countries. Silly me, back in the time, I imagined that I was just, okay, I'm gonna start teaching English, and in the morning after, I would have tons of students That was, oh my God. But anyway, I was really in doubt about the platform or how I could receive my payment. And the first tool I ever tried was Mercado Pago. Did anyone try Mercado Pago ever? No, thank God you haven't, Luis. No, thank God you haven't. Let me contextualize things here. In 2014, 2015, I didn't know what BRAZ-TESOL was. I didn't know there were Facebook groups for teachers, Facebook groups for online teachers. I was alone. As Julia said, I live in Jequié, which is a tiny city, 6 hours from Salvador. Things here, well, it takes a little while for news and new stuff get here. So I was alone and lost. And I tried Mercado Pago. That was the first tool I ever tried. I knew PayPal, but I couldn't manage it, so I didn't use it. Nowadays, we've got tools like Inter, Juno, PagSeguro, fantastic tools. And well, basically I use Juno and PagSeguro depending on the type of course I'm gonna deliver to students or whatever, right? Which of these tools, which of these platforms do you use to get your payment from your students? PayPal, okay, PayPal. None, okay. Inter, PicPay, cool, fantastic. So we've got, a broad range of possibilities here. Fantastic. Okay, having my tools chosen, now I found my third obstacle: security. How can I deal with being a kind of an online teacher, an entrepreneur, having my own business and stuff like that? I was really scared back in the time. And I think for the first year, I didn't quit the franchise I worked at the time. And I was really, I was afraid. That was the word. I was afraid. And as time passed by, I noticed that I needed to have things quite organized here. And I started to develop a business plan. Selling courses was definitely one of the things that helped me having a more stable working environment. So in the past, I used to sell individual lessons, but there was a nightmare. Some students would cancel the lessons when they had holidays. Well, there comes all of this story that most of you already know, I believe. And selling courses was the solution I found to go around this this feeling of dealing with security. And the last thing was financial education. I'm sorry. Got lost here. All right. By studying about financial education, I was able to manage all the money I had, and I started to, save money, not only spend money. I was kind of every money I would get, I would spend, didn't think about the future, didn't think about my CPD. And as time passed by, I noticed that I needed to take a break, reorganize things, and financial education was one of the most important things that helped me being here today. By understanding the money I had, I could invest on my structure, I could invest on my CPD, and I ended up studying and evolving and becoming a better teacher, selling better services. And that's how I found the solutions for the third obstacle. The fourth obstacle was how can I get my students? Little did I know that by solving the three previous obstacles, I was not able to get students. I thought that having a nice platform, having a nice internet, and yes, sorting things out about receiving my payment would be enough. And as I mentioned earlier, I can tell you, I was really sure that by sorting these things out, I would have students in the morning after. Well, it took me a year, I think a year and a half, to enroll my first students ever since I started recording my stuff. Well, okay, I kept with my thick skin and everything ended up well. Back in the time, I didn't have idea of how to start. And after, I don't know, weeks or months, I had this obvious idea of using Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube to get the ball rolling and appear for everybody. Most of people didn't know me, and I found it out in the hardest way, because I went online, tried to offer my services in a traditional way. I'm an English teacher. There you are. I charge this amount for lesson and blah blah blah. And people wouldn't buy my stuff. They wouldn't buy my services. They wouldn't hire me as a teacher. And after many months, I noticed that first I should have a position on internet. Eventually, I started studying business, marketing all by myself. I took some marketing courses, some selling courses. I met Julio. I had a course with him, one selling course. After I took many, but that was the very first one. And things have changed. My perspective have changed a lot. And now I'm going to tell you, from the point I see it, how should one organize things in order to start teaching online. Okay, these are the 3 points I believe we should sort out before we start teaching. The very first one is choosing a niche. You've got to choose your niche. You've got to understand your strengths, and well, you can focus on them. I'm not telling that if you start teaching online now, you have only to focus on your niche, on your in your strengths. Of course, you need money, so you can get pretty much every teaching job you feel comfortable with. But as time passes by, it's interesting for you to analyze your strengths and follow a niche. For example, if you're good at business English, focus on it. Teach business English. If you're good at teaching exams, Sandro will talk later on today, and he's fantastic on teaching exams, preparing students for TOEFL. So that's a niche he followed. All right. So you can find your thing and follow it. You will feel, you feel more pleasure to work with it, and it will be easier to establish yourself as an authority. Does that make sense? Is it okay? Does that make sense? Nível Nascimento, my niche is aviation English. Yeah, fantastic. Cool. It helps you stand out. Great. Fantastic. It seems Tiago's also focused on aviation English. Yeah. So that's the point. By doing it, it's easier for you to stand out. Second point, understand your target audience. I forgot to write something here. I'm sorry. Let me put here. So your target audience needs. I'm sorry. Needs. Okay. Now I think it's fine. So understand your target audience needs, because it's easier to catch your students' attention by offering them what they need. If, as people said here, they teach English focused on aviation, it doesn't make sense for, I don't know, for a person, okay, focused on traveling, get your services. So it's easy for you to communicate with students that feel that need of your services. Your communication is better. You can, again, establish yourself as an audience. And it takes us to the third point. Plan your content based on your audience's need. As long as you've got your Facebook page, your Instagram account, your YouTube channel, and you teach business, for example, it does not make sense. I mean, it does, but it's not effective to produce content focused for other people. It's logical. I mean, a businessman or a businesswoman wouldn't feel attracted, wouldn't feel appealed by your content if you, I don't know, if you're talking about traveling English, or if you're talking about, I don't know, academic English. As long as you talk about their needs, they will feel embraced. They will understand that you're talking to them. And well, it's easier for them to connect with you. All right. Julia can talk about this better than me, but that's the point. These were the very first points I believe every business, every online teaching stuff should start at. Okay. Let me check here. All right. Got any? Okay. Let's carry on. Now, okay, time to get the ball rolling. How can we start having our content published? Okay, I pointed out here first images. You can create images, pictures, and you can post on your Instagram, for example. Instagram is the social network of the moment now. It's a big hit now. So create your stuff, create your images, and post there. You can use a number of apps to prepare your stuff, your images. You can use Adobe, for example, or other softwares like this. But for example, I'm terrible on doing those things. I don't know how to deal with Adobe and other softwares like this one. So I go for Canva. That's fantastic. That's simple. That's free. So I can organize my images, can organize my pictures. Boom, off we go. It's ready to post. If you want to have things a little bit more dynamic, you can use apps like InShot or Clips. InShot is a video and image edit application for Android. It's fantastic, simple to use, really user-friendly, and you can get a simple picture, add audio to it, and it becomes a picture with audio. Well, that's cool. That's fantastic. It's a little bit different. Clips. It's available for iOS, and it's got a nice feature I really love. You can get your picture, for example. You can, over the picture, record your voice, and Clips generates the subtitles automatically. So that's fantastic. I mean, time is money. You can save yourself from preparing subtitles on softwares and all of these things. If you're able to do it, if you have the patience, fine, go for it. Edit your videos and add subtitles to it. But Clips, if you've got iOS, it kills. Fantastic. The next point I would like to cover is record videos. I think, let me remember my, yes, that was the first thing I did. No, I started posting video, I started posting pictures online. Okay, people liked it. I had some likes back in the time, but it didn't catch people's attention, sorry. And then I recorded my first video. When I posted it, people went crazy. I think, as far as I remember, I had 6,000 views in a period of a week. I was completely overwhelmed. That was crazy. That was something from other world. You know, I was completely mind blown, completely surprised. All right. So 2 things I recommend is to get a nice video and audio quality. If you've got to choose only one, well, go for audio quality. Nowadays, that's my setup for recording things. Got my computer, you know, an extra monitor here to see what I'm recording and stuff. I've got a nice camera, but things were not like that when I started. When I started recording my videos, I used an old Nikon, actually, okay, this one. I have this old Nikon D3100. I got it secondhand. I think this camera was released almost a PlayStation 4 microphone and my my Galaxy Note 2 to capture my audio. In order to have a nice audio quality, I would pop the microphone to my Note 2, would put it on my pocket, my back pocket, would record things with my camera and then merge them, would synchronize them on Movie Maker that I used on Windows, you know. So start with what you have. You don't need to get fancy things, expensive things to get the ball rolling. Get what you have and get things going. What really matters here is that you've got to be creative. Okay, I need a nice audio quality. What do I need to have a nice audio quality? Well, let me get a voice recorder and a microphone. Fantastic. I need to have a nice camera. Well, when I started, the Galaxy 8 and Note 2 didn't have a nice video recording quality. But nowadays, pretty much every phone has got a nice camera, pretty decent camera. So you don't even need to buy a brand new DSLR to have your videos recorded. You can get your phone, you can pop your microphone in it, and that's it. Let me see if you've got other questions here. All right, so far so good. Any other questions? Any other comments? Have you ever started recording your stuff to your online pages? Those of you who have already started. Nivea has one video done, great. Yeah, Thiago, exactly. Cameras, at least in the beginning, you don't need to spend a lot of money on cameras. You know, you can get a simple camera, you can get your phone and that's it, you know. No video so far, man, go for it. The communication nowadays works more with videos, you know. People's attention are focused on images and videos, more on videos. So that's a nice way to catch people's attention. I forgot the numbers, but that's the point. Okay. Blog posts, articles. You can write your articles and post on your blog. That's a nice way to catch people's attention too. I shall confess, I can't write very well, or at least I don't believe that I have the skills to write very well, but it's not an excuse. Let me show you something that I do when I want to have a nice post written. So here's the thing I've got here. That's the Google Docs. You know, probably most of you already know that. But if you go here, tools, digitação por voice, which I forgot how to say in English, but if you click here, it will enable this button here. You choose the type of English you're more familiarized with, your pronunciation is closest to, and then you can start recording, and there it is. You know, it transcribes everything for you. Of course, it's not accurate. It's not 100% accurate. But if you want to gain time, you can record your video. But your video will be your main content here. So you record your video, play your video on your media player, and you can activate this tool and let Google Docs transcribe it for you. Boom, there it is. You add an introduction, you add a conclusion, you correct everything that's wrong, and that it is. You've got a nice post depending on what you're, you know, what you're dealing with, the topics you're dealing with. Sometimes you're gonna have to organize ideas better, sometimes not. It depends, but it's a nice tool to, you know, gain time. All right. Other point, okay, cool. Getting back here. Next point, lives. You can, well, now during this moment of quarantine, it's something that everybody's doing. Instagram lives, Facebook lives, YouTube transmissions, and all these things. But there is something some people don't know is that you can start a nice live video with Zoom. If you want to transmit things from your computer to Instagram or to Facebook, for example, you will need OBS Studio or other applications like this. And well, it's been a long while since I have last used OBS, but with Zoom, it's quite simple. It's a tool, a platform that most of us are familiarized with. You just click here, then you've got the options here. You click live on Facebook. It opens a new tab on your browser. You set everything you want: the title, the description, and the keywords, and you start your transmission. There it is, quite simple, you know. And by doing it, it takes us to the next point, which is podcasts. Podcast has been a big thing now. Many YouTubers, many companies, pretty much everybody, is starting to producing podcasts. And some people think it's quite difficult to have your podcasts going and things working. You don't need fancy stuff like this. If you're able to have this, fantastic, that's good. But if you simply, for example, if you have your live done, you did a transmission on Zoom, transmitted things online, live on Facebook. When you save it, when you finish your call, when you finish your conference, Zoom automatically saves it as an audio file. There it is. That's your podcast. You simply get it. If you need to edit, you edit it. If you don't need to edit, you can simply edit to a platform like SoundCloud, Deezer, the green one. I forgot the green one. I used to use it, but I can't remember now. Anyway, all of these kind of platforms, and have your podcast going. Simple, you know. And well, basically my recommendations for those of you who want to take the first step going online is, first of all, be yourself and explore what catches people's attention. When I first started, people get really overwhelmed by the way I speak, by my accent and all those things. Even though I don't want to to have this as the most important thing on my stuff, you know. But that's what people, what caught people's attention. So because of that, I explored it as much as I could. And well, it took me to many places, many situations. It opened the doors to me to very levels. Keep on learning. Improve your English as much as you can. Learn new teaching methods. Take, of course, if you can, take business courses and try to understand business management so that you're not caught, you know, off guard in situations like the one we're facing now. Learn about marketing. Learn how to show yourself, to show your very best version, all right? And learn how to sell yourself too, because sometimes that was me when I started. I tried to offer my students my curriculum. I tried to anchor my price based on my curriculum, which was terrible because back in the time my curriculum was 0. And if another teacher comes to your student with the same curriculum, you've got more achievements, more titles, and he or she charges the same amount of money that you charge, well, you lost this one. I'm sorry. So learn about selling. Learn how to sell your best version. Learn how to sell to your students the benefits of studying with you, not the features. Try not to sell things like, okay, I've been graduating this university and I know I have this course and this and that, and offer the benefits. You know, your students connect with you having emotional bonds. So as long as your benefits reach their emotions, there it is. You took this one. Take part in groups for teachers. Don't be a lone wolf. Try to talk to as many teachers as possible. We always have things to learn from our peers. Always reinvent yourself. Don't wait until things get terrible to come up with nice ideas, to change the way you work to change the ways you work, and try to come up always with new strategies, new things. And last but not least, be humble but brave. All right. I hope throughout these years, being an online teacher, I met fantastic teachers, great teachers in this journey. And I always noticed that I needed to improve. And I've got this clear in my mind that I need to be a better version of myself in the morning after, in the day after. But apart from it, I need to be brave enough to, you know, go for the plans I've got, for the goals I establish. And yeah, that's it. That's what I have planned for this talk. Let me see, what time is it? My God, it's 3:40. Wow, that's great. It flew really fast. Now I'd like to open up for questions. If, I don't know, Igor, Vinicius, or Julio can come back and we can have people asking questions and we can answer these questions. That would be fantastic. So thank you very much, guys, for having me here, for have listened to my talk. And now I'm here to help you. Thank you, yay, thank you.
So people over here, hey, Felipe, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Folks, if anybody has any questions for Felipe, there are a few here in the Q&A, but I think you've answered most of them. For example, first one was, what's the name of the person invited by Jô Soares? You answered that one.
Yeah, there was Professor Clóvis de Barros Filho.
There's another one, which payment choice charges is the least?
Well, I'm always terrible at dealing with numbers, but the one that I have found, which is the best one, is Juno. It's been Juno, all right? At least between Juno and PagSeguro, which are the ones that I use the most now.
All right. Let's see. Then how many students or groups of students do you have? I think the questions end up sounding a little bit out of context when they're asked at the end.
Yeah, yeah.
So let me see what sounds a little bit more contextualized. Then people, if you have anything else you want to ask, feel free to type in the Q&A here. Let's see. So you mentioned that it took 1 year before you started getting students. Can you give us more details on how you got by during that time? Did you work face-to-face?
Yeah, well, back in the time, I used to work in a franchise. I didn't quit the franchise I worked at the time until everything was working fine. And I definitely recommend it to people. I don't think people should burn the bridges and quit their jobs to start online teaching. They've got to balance things so that in the right moment they leave the jobs they've got, if they want to leave the jobs they've got. They don't necessarily need to do that. I did because I was not happy back then. So yeah.
All right. There was a question here in the chat. Nivea, I think is her name. I'm planning a free ebook, but I must record pronunciation. What's your choice? What would you use to record pronunciation?
Well, to record pronunciation, well, I pretty much, in terms of recording, I use, I always use fancy stuff here because I'm a musician. So I use this audio interface here, which is the iRig. That's kind of, again, it's kind of fancy, so you need to get one like this. But if you were to go with things you already got, open up your voice recorder on your phone and go for it. There's just a trick. Let me show you.
Somebody's asking you to show the device again, Filipe, please.
What device? This one. That's audio interface. In Portuguese, we call it placa de áudio. All right. We've got many. This one, I like this one because I can use both on my Mac on my iPad, so that I can record, guitar stuff, voice, and all of these things. But if I want to record something on my computer, voice on my computer, I can use this too. But again, you don't need to buy it. You just need to get your voice recorder on your phone. And let me teach you a trick. If you open up your voice recorder on your phone, as you keep talking, every time you say plosive sounds like, the microphone will capture it. So a nice way of doing it, you can get a sock and cover your phone completely. So it will, well, it can isolate the plosive sounds, or at least decrease the sound of them, all right?
Okay, a few other questions here. Do you think it's better to separate your personal Instagram account from your professional Instagram account?
Well, it's a tricky one because I definitely believe that you should have a personal account and a professional account. But from the point I see it nowadays, people are trying to get closer to professionals that they feel that are human beings, not an enterprise. So if you're able to have your business Instagram account and your personal Instagram account, fine, but try to have your personal your professional Instagram account as you were like a person, a human being, not a company. I think Nivea asked about the app in order to record stuff. Livia, I use this one, voice recorder, simple. You can download pretty much any voice recorder on your on the store of your phone, and that's it.
Okay. Then there was one about clips, if you still use clips.
No, and let me tell you why. Because I've got no patience, simply because I've got no patience to edit things on my phone. Just because of that, not because Clips is bad or something. I'd rather sit on my chair and edit things on my computer. I didn't mention it, but the app I use on my computer is Filmora, which is also available on Android and I think on Mac or iOS too. But for when I've got to edit things, simple things on my phone, I use Clips. Yes. Oh, sorry. InShot for Android, Clips for iOS.
All right. There are more questions. How do you organize your typical work week? Do you have a recommended number of hours a day or hours a week? That was Gabriel, which would be healthier.
I don't know. To be honest, I really don't know. What I know for sure is, well, the more you teach without any breaks, I believe it's the worst. But my days are quite, easy. I don't have tons of students so that I get suffocated. It's fine. I work around 4 hours a day. I'm more with this kind of philosophy. Instead of work hard, I'd rather work smart, So I don't have tons and tons of students. I try to organize in groups and having, just a small amount of lessons a day.
All right. Then, do you teach groups? If so, how big are they? How big are the groups?
Well, yeah, the groups I teach usually around 4 to 6 students. 4 to 6 students. So I'm a teacher trainer too. So I've got a group with teachers, and it's around 5 teachers. Sometimes we've got an extra teacher joining, but we've got 5 teachers in this group.
All right. And then as to CPD, do you think Train the Trainer made any difference in your career?
Yeah, I mean, by taking Train the Trainer, it opens up the doors to more possibilities, Of course, I run this online school called English to Go, and I can hire teachers and train teachers in a proper way. But apart from it, I can train other teachers, and that's an extra possibility of teaching. So, yeah.
All right. Pedro asks, what advice would you give to students who are reluctant to studying online?
That's tricky. That's tricky. I believe that people should basically go for the things they really have any sort of affinity. If people who approach me are not into online teaching, I'm sorry, I don't argue with them. I don't try to convince them. What I do is, if I've got a group ongoing, I invite them to watch a lesson. But I'm not the one who offers free lessons. I don't do it. Depending on the situation, I can offer kind of a guarantee. So I offer a month, a 30-day guarantee. The student pays the whole course. And if in 30 days it is not what he or she expected, I give back the money. But of course, the students have got to fulfill some requirements.
All right.
Contract, yes, I use contracts. Yes.
All right. There were a few others here. Can you see this one, Filipe? I know this might be a difficult question to answer, but what would you say should be the teacher-entrepreneur timeline when planning their online teaching business? What I mean is, what and how many things should be planned and created ahead before being actually implemented?
I'm sorry, come again. It was a lot of information.
If you scroll up the chat, it was asked by Lucas at 3:49.
Okay. I'm reaching it. Lucas. Pretty fortunate. Okay, I know the version, but say What it means. What and how many things should be planned and created ahead before actually be. Lucas, I don't know. I don't know. Let me tell you why I don't know. Because it depends from person to person. I know people that started this Teacherpreneur thing, and they're able to handle many things at once. I am not this kind of person. I need to do things step by step. When I've got some things organized, okay, let's move on, let's move on, let's move on. I know people that they can see pretty much everything they've got to do, and they do all at once, right? I'm not like this. I know what I've got to do, and I can look forward and see what I need to do, but it's not for me. So my advice in this situation is you've got to know yourself. And well, if you're able to handle with those things, go for it. If you're not, try to handle as much as you think, as many things as you can, you know. So.
All right, we still have a few minutes, just a few more. Sandro asks if you think it's a nice idea to issue payment slips as well.
No, no. I did it in the past, but I had some problems with some students, and I ended up giving up doing it. So no. Which I'm not telling that you shouldn't do it. Well, you should analyze your context, and if it's okay to you, go for it. In my case, it was not good, so no.
All right. Then this is an important one, I think. Have you ever taught students with special needs online? Students with Down syndrome, for example?
No. I mean, I think the maximum I did, well, I've got ADHD, and I taught some students with ADHD too. So because of that, I was able to handle, because of my condition, I was able to handle my students' conditions too. So I could plan thinking about their attention and all of these things. But as you can see, during the presentation, I got lost in many moments. Even my English was not accurate, but that's because of attention. I've got to pay attention to many processes at once. Now I'm really, I'm way more relaxed, so it's better. And because of these things, I know how ADHD students, at least most of them, work. So I can manage lessons to them, but only ADHD students.
All right. How was your first online class? Do you remember what you taught? In my opinion, it's always hard to start.
My first online class. No, I do remember. It was not bad. It was not as bad. It was not as bad as every teacher expects, because I had this student who lives in Sao Paulo, and she wanted to learn how to read English. That was her goal. She wanted to read and write some productions. She was graduating in. She's a doctor nowadays, and she needed it. So there was a niche that I've been dealing with for, I think, 5 years, 4 or 5 years, English for academic purposes. So that was all fine, no problem with my first online lesson. Sidali, right. Thank you, Sidali. Thank you very much.
I think that's it, Filipe. I know, actually, there's a new one just now. When should I start this transition from in-person classes to online classes? Is it possible to manage both at the same time? Does it have to be a full-time job?
Okay, let's break it down first. When? I believe now. That's the best moment to get things started now. All right. Well, we have no other option, so let's go for it. In terms of quitting your job, I don't know. It depends. It depends on you. If you think you're able to deal with the situation, quitting your job, okay. If you don't, well, try to balance things. Start your online your online teaching stuff on your spare time. And well, keep on doing things. Eventually, it will end up growing. So in the right moment, if you want to leave your job, go for it.
All right. Well, now I think that's it, Filipe. I can't thank you enough on behalf of BRAZ-TESOL for your time. You're brilliant. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Hugo. Thank you for having me here. It was a great opportunity. I had a great time here. Thank you all for having watched it. Yeah, that's it.
All right. So people, thank you very much for being here with us today. And there's more at the end of the day today, right?
Yes, we're gonna have
this webinar.
I think it's 6.
Vinicius said 7 p.m. Is it 6 or 7? I don't know. I'm not sure.
Let me check here.
7 p.m. It's
Sorry,
7
7 p.m. Sorry, 7 p.m. with Sandro Duarte on Teaching Exams Online.
Very good.
Yep.
All right. Thank you, everyone. This is me, Filipe. You're brilliant. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.